Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing authors of a new book that we have coming out today, actually. I was going to say coming out, but it's out, y'all. And it is called The Ultimate Guide to Leaving Your Legacy, 22 Powerful Lessons on Leading as a Soul Professional. And before I introduce these ladies to you today, I want to say a huge thank you to Camille Miller. She is the founder of the Natural Life Business Partnership and the lead author of this beautiful book. Camille, thank you for your mission and your vision for really the entire series. This is the third book in her beautiful series. And it's been incredible to have the expert author cast that you pulled in for this amazing legacy book. I cannot wait to talk to them today about this topic. But that first huge thanks really goes to you for being the leader of this and pulling together such a beautiful, heart-centered master group of teachers. Wait till you hear from them. So who do I have today? As a trusted authority in conscious leadership, Jennifer Regular's insights and strategic alignments guide individuals to harness their inner light to create a profound impact. We've got Susan Morrow Johnson with us, aka Mojo Medium. She leads the Destiny Movement, supporting women over 40, especially entrepreneurs and MLM survivors. I love that term, to align with their purpose through her seminars, workshops, and coaching. And Trisha Livermore is here. She's the founder and coach of Soul Business Advisor, with a mission to reignite humanity by guiding individuals toward inner peace and harmony through individual and group coaching. All right, Jennifer, you're going to start this party off. Give us the why behind this legacy chapter for you.
The why. Yeah. Well, the legacy chapter, the chapter 5, that's about leading with passion, lighting the path to profound impact and collective transformation. And the reason that I felt really called to write about that was because I want every single person to know that they are meant for this world, that there is meaning and purpose to the life and who they are. And it comes from me, trying to make up for the fact that I was born by accident, and wondering, why am I here? My mom thought she was going through menopause, and here I pop out and just trying to find my way out in the world, and went through many misalignments and pivots and trying to discover how I can shift from that role to role way of relating to each other into soul to soul way of relating. And so that soul is that sending out universal love, if we look at it as an acronym, right? And that's what I mean about the collective transformation piece and just lighting the path to that profound impact through leading with passion. Because the way I see passion, which is what my wake up call was that I share a little bit about in the book, is a directive, not just an energy, but to our calling. Because when you break up the word, it's pass I on. And that I is your soul's expression of what you're here to pass on in this lifetime. So that's what I want, like every reader and everyone listening to this right now, to understand that they are here for a purpose. They are meant for this world and they have something to share. And I want them to be able to do that and feel inspired by it. And I know this book is going to help them do that.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys catch the couple of word drops? All right. So I'm going to back up. Soul, sending out universal love. You blew through that so fast. I had to back up to it. I'm like, yeah,
I'm glad you caught it.
I pay pretty good attention, but I'm like, oh, well, we got to rewind to that one. And then just the idea, and I want to ask you about this, of what happened to you and really having worthiness be at this foundation of your journey. Like, whoa, it's hard to think of another scenario that would be so crushing in terms of like, why am I here? What am I worth? Nobody wanted me. Like, what's up, universe? Like, help me out here. And that is sometimes for some people, a lifelong journey. What else do you want to tell people about that?
Yeah, well, I followed all the conformed parts of society, you know, getting married, having the house, having the kids, getting my degree and getting a job in the field. And none of that was really true to who I was. And there was a point where I was just lying in bed, looking up at the ceiling, feeling like my life was over, you know, and then all of a sudden this energy just jolted me up, you know, to rise up and realize this is not the way that I wanted it to end. And even though, you know, I lost the home, broke up the marriage, had to claim bankruptcy, lost a lot in that whole process, I gained who I truly was out of that. It took a journey, you know, the spiritual healing journey that we go on to really understand what I was truly meant here to do and to be. And so I had to recover myself to fully be myself through that process. But yeah, it took those misalignments and the recognition of this isn't right. This isn't the way it was supposed to be able to go out there. But there was also the issue of my husband threatening to kill me and how I was going to put myself out there. So there was like this purpose-driven courage that overrode any kind of fear or hindrance to what I was truly meant to do. And that I discovered had more power than anything else over
Thank
me.
you. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
about that. And Jennifer, thank you also just for saying yes to this. Thanks for being here today. Oh my gosh, so much more in these chapters. You guys, we're gonna like barely scratch the surface today of these gorgeous chapters. Trisha, how about you? Give me the why behind your legacy chapter.
Yeah, I really appreciated what Jennifer was talking about, that journey of self-love, right? So that's really what my chapter is about. It's called The Courage for the Next Step, and it's about the self-love you need for the life you crave. And when Camille reached out to me to ask me about becoming an author in this, I really had to sit down and think about, like, what is the legacy that I want to leave in my business? Um, and it really sparked my desire to show up in a way that people can feel love in my heart for them. And what it really inspired is to notice the things that were happening in my life. You know, we all have different stories, we all have different experiences, we all have different pain points and challenges, but the purpose of them is to learn from them. Like, what does our soul, what does our authentic self really want from ourselves, and what are we trying to um, ascertain, and how do we elevate our soul growth in this world? It feels maybe a little spiritual or woo for some people, but that's really why I wanted to write this book, is to share my journey of self-love, how I got there, the tools and techniques and the things that worked for me. And I share that in my chapter so that others can utilize those same tools and techniques, because self-love is a journey, right? Like, I was always one to feel worthy only when I received it. Um, and I had a lot of different experiences in my life making me realize that I'm the only one that can really know that my worth. And the only way to do that is to truly love myself. So that's the reason I wanted to write the book, is, or the chapter, is to really share that journey with others so that they could see it within themselves.
This is going to be a big follow-up question, so good luck. But you know, we pop out into the world and are immediately taught that affection from other people is how we're getting that worth, right? It's an interesting theme today. And it's been in other interviews too. Like, how do you end up showing up in the world as your authentic self after being trained that you need other people to like you first? You know, what do you think is the most important thing you want people to know about that journey? If I was going to just dip a toe in, what would be step one to you?
I think for me, noticing judgment. So just having a huge amount of awareness around our thoughts and our thoughts and our feelings. And for me, noticing, putting words and labeling what I was feeling. So really delving into what that was. And what I'm noticing now, and this is a practice, like this is not something you just turn the switch on and you just suddenly become and suddenly do differently. Maybe some people do, but I haven't found anyone who has done that. This is really about a practice of noticing your thoughts, noticing the judgment of those thoughts, having really a significant amount of grace and compassion and acceptance for those feelings, and then really turning into a kindness awareness of yourself. What can you celebrate? What can you appreciate? What can you have gratitude for in this moment, just exactly the way it is? And the more you can talk to yourself as you are your own soulmate or cheerleader, the greater your relationship to yourself becomes.
Thank you for sharing this about this particular topic. You guys, Trisha is talking about what I call a ninja level of awareness, and she is so right. This practice is lifelong, and we get better and better at it, and magical things actually, I will say, happen from the pursuit of that mastery of that level of awareness. Trisha, thanks for saying yes to this project, and for being here today to share with everyone. But to all three of you, really, like, if our listeners are paying attention to these golden nuggets, though, that one moment of awareness that you give them in this conversation can change a life. That's big potato stuff to me. Like, that's what happens here. All right, Susan, your turn. Tell us the why behind your legacy chapter.
Oh, well, it's about similar but different to theirs. And that's what I love about being the last one to be asked. I love that all three of us are helping clients and people in general and the world to become their true selves and to align with their soul's goals, all in different ways and all coming from different places. And it just emphasizes the universality of what we've been through and what we have figured out along the way. And so for me, it was not only, it really started with my questioning, what are my talents and how do I use them in service to others? Blame it on my Christian upbringing. I certainly do. But I believe we're all here to use our talents in service to others, for money or not, and not servitude. Remember that. So I was really wondering, I had a job that I loved, I was good at, and I thought, okay, so I like it, I'm good at it, I'm making good money, but is this what I'm here to do? I was feeling what I call the tug of fate, pulling me towards something else. And that was really brought home when I was laid off from my job. And now, fortunately for me, I'm psychic, and I'd had a dream about this very thing happening the morning that it happened. So I woke up, I had this dream, went to work, and then Friday afternoon, here comes my boss, sits down, closes the door, just like she did in the dream. Well, in the dream, I was really happy about it. So that gave me a great advantage. And it started me on the way to seeing things differently, recognizing that that little ding getting kicked out by the universe was actually a message from me, from my soul, saying it's time for you to do something else. And so I have been on a path ever since then for 30 years, going to the next thing that is for me. And every time I get kicked out of something, it doesn't have to be work, it doesn't have to be a business, it can be a relationship, it can be a house, it can be any kind of situation. I recognize that that is the message saying that situation, job, relationship was past its expiration date. You haven't been paying attention, so ding, get out there and go do it. Go find your thing. And that's what I've done. And I have, I've developed over the years how to do that, how to choose your destiny, choose your next destiny. And right now I am so myself. And when I came to this point, using my own methods and also divine downloads, I feel now more like myself than I have since I was a child. I feel very much like the way I was born to be here. And that's what's exciting about the destiny movement. It is about choosing your right now destiny based on the simple 5-word message from your soul, which is use your talents in service. And so work on what those talents are, identify your own divine value. Trisha talked about worthiness. Jennifer talked about worthiness. It's one of my biggest things. We all need to work on it. And it is about loving and accepting yourself as you are. And what's great about this lifelong journey of getting to know yourself and getting to know your soul and your soul's goals and figuring out what you came here to do, the beauty of it is that it is all good stuff. It's all great stuff. And when you become self-aware, you're automatically other aware. And that's when you get to help others. That's how you leave your legacy.
Oh, I love it. Um, divine value. That's what a beautiful way to talk about worthiness. Divine value, right? Okay, so here I am. I'm going to play devil's advocate,
Great.
Susan, with something you said about my talents. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what my talents are. Like, so, and a lot of young people I've talked to recently are like in this I don't know land of I don't know
Yes.
how to follow.
Old
What
people too.
yeah, all of us.
Trust me.
What's the breadcrumb? What do we need to pay attention to?
Sure. I love this question. Thank you for asking, because it gives me a chance to show off a little bit. So I really do have a series of exercises for my clients to get to that. All of them, to a person, have far more talents than they know that they have. We're not talking about musical talent or artistic talent necessarily, although that can be one. But there are many talents that are hidden from us because they're not talked about, or you think that it's easy for you, so it must be easy for everybody, but no, it's not. It's kind of special to you. And so we go through an exercise, and I'll give you a breadcrumb, and that is to think back to your childhood, anytime before puberty, and think about what you loved doing. Who were your heroes and why? What were your favorite subjects in school? And what did you want to be when you grew up? Now, those 4 questions from your answered from your childhood, and we do more, and we go through it in the teen years as well. But those 4 questions will really get you started on that, because you're going to find a common thread that tells you, oh, these are my values. This is what's important to me. And this is what I have the ability to do. And I especially notice with the heroes, who were your heroes and why? If you come up with a teacher, one of your teachers or a grandparent, that why is a big question, because chances are good that you have the same qualities that that person has.
Mm,
So that's how we start finding
nice.
our talents, and
Yes.
get the big basket of talents and go, okay, well, this one really lights me up, and this one and this one, I want to go do this.
Nice breadcrumbs. And I love some practical examples.
Oh yeah.
Susan, thank you for saying yes to this and being here today.
Thank you so much.
And just more thank you to all 3 of you. What I love the most about these projects is we need all of your unique voices and ways to talk about even the one topic. Like a reader's going to come into this book and be able to resonate with the message because you are of your unique way of expressing it. And that's why I love pulling all of the beautiful experts that we have to share in your stories. You stepped up to the challenge, all 3 of you, that I gave, to be vulnerable and give us that story. They're beautiful. But then, readers, get ready, because the practical magic is in there. They're going to share tools and practices and strategies that you can put in place. Similar, Susan just shared one too. So this gets me excited. Okay, so Camille has this term soul professional that she's trademarked. And I love that term for so many reasons. Trisha, what does being a soul professional mean to you?
Yeah, it's such a beautiful question. When I wanted to start my coaching business, initially I was helping other small businesses because I'm a serial entrepreneur and I've built a business on the side of my corporate career. But I wanted to be really specific that I wanted to work with people who really wanted to elevate their soul in their business, meaning they wanted to show up as their authentic self. They wanted to serve their customers, their clients, their employees, everyone around them in a very meaningful, purpose-driven way. So that is really what it means to be an SOUL, soul professional.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to play a little bit on this one too with you, but how do I know when I show up as my authentic self? How do I know? How do I know that's her?
Yeah. I think it takes a lot of practice to notice when you're following your passion, your heart's desire. So a lot of times if you're trying to force something to make something happening, it's your brain is sort of in the ego judgment. I want something for a specific reason, where your heart just wants something because it feels right. It resonates. There's an intuitive knowing that this is the path that you want to be on and this is where you want to go. And it doesn't always make sense. So really noticing how you're feeling about something. And if you start going down a path and it's not feeling right, it's not resonating with you, that's a sign, that's an indication that it might not be meant for you. But when you're going down a path and you're like, oh my gosh, this feels really risky, but it feels right, you know it in your heart. So it's learning to notice how you're feeling about it and how you're feeling in your body about it is really important.
Thank you for that little extra piece, because I think we're giving some our listeners some real valuable strategy. You got to get in your body, you guys. Sometimes this goes down in me like, wow, this is it. It doesn't make any sense, but I love it. Like, so it doesn't always have to make sense, but in my body, it's full on making sense, right? Like I'm smiling, my posture is different, my voice changes. Like, so if you can get in that body and practice listening, you're going to have a magical tool. Um, Susan, what does it mean to you to be a soul professional?
Well, I don't know if I would have chosen that term if Camille hadn't. I don't know if I would have come up with it on my own. But what that means is that I get to do the work that my soul came here to do. And it's really kind of the same message as using your talents in service. That's what it is to me, that I get to do that work, and it's the best way that I know how to serve others.
Yeah, I love that. It is tied into what you said before too about that. And then, similar for our listeners, just it's
Mhm.
okay if you don't know yet. It's
Oh,
okay to
yeah.
be in the place of just not knowing, and don't, rather than getting down on yourself for not knowing, think of it as the biggest opportunity you have ever
Right.
to
And to
to
explore and to
explore.
feel.
Yes.
And so I'm going to anticipate your next question about how do you know when you're in alignment with your soul's goals? And that is, first of all, it feels great. Like you were just talking about in your body. It just feels so good. You get this great feeling of happiness. And, none of us can maintain a euphoric state all the time. But once you have experienced a very euphoric state about something like finding your purpose, then you can remember that and call on that and say, ah, yes, I know this is in alignment. And the other thing that happens when you're in alignment is that things go well. Things go well when you're in alignment, when you're feeling your divine value or your worthiness. Not that you don't have value, you do, but you have to feel that. You have to feel it. And so things go well. Doors will fly open for you when you're on the right path for you.
Yep, those are good signs.
Mhm.
Definitely. I do love what you said about like once you feel it once, then you have it to go on. And I journal a lot about the feelings to give myself cheat sheets so I remember it again when I need to remember, you know?
That's a good way to do it, especially if you
Yeah.
have a really big moment, a big breakthrough of some sort, because it will become integrated into you and you'll forget that that was a big moment, a big deal.
All right, Jennifer, what's it mean to you? It's hard to go last on this one, I know, but like, what do you want to add to this? Like, what does it mean to you to be a soul professional?
Yeah, so professional. Okay, so it's becoming who you came here to be and doing what you came here to do, right? As soul. And I mentioned earlier about soul can be an acronym for sending out universal love. So when you attune to that soul's frequency, then you tune into and embody that universal love that being expressed through you, for the benefit of all of humanity, actually. And for soul professionals, this is such a profound term to explain all of those that are here at this time that are high achievers who are creating high impact to serve a higher purpose. And that to me is the soul professional.
I love those additions. Thank you. This is so great to hear all the ways you're all talking about this. Okay, this is a question. It's our last question today for all of you. Susan, I'm going to start with you. You know, living a life that leaves a positive legacy in the world is sometimes broken down into the smallest moments of success. And success can be defined very uniquely for each of us. Give us an idea of one of those small moments of success in your day to day. How does it look if I were to peek in your window?
Ooh, that's a little tricky. I feel like Miss America being asked the question. Perfect date, April 26th. So a great example would be when I finish a call with a client and she's had a real moment, just even a small awakening, an awareness that had not been with her before. That's to me, that's the best. And it's the same if I'm teaching a workshop or giving a talk or whatever, seeing people go, and have that moment where they're, oh, that makes sense. Now I get it. I love that. That's my favorite. And I think that's my success moment.
I love those moments as well. I would imagine we all love that, helping. Oh my gosh, it's our tagline, you guys. We are waking the world up to what's possible. And so, like, if they wake up in front of you and you're like, whoa, all right, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because that is a big deal.
Right. Well, and I think sharing in those moments amplifies them.
Of course.
For the client as well as for yourself, in the same way that as you heal yourself, you heal others and vice versa.
All right, Jennifer, for you. So those small moments, like what does that look like in your day to day if we were to have a little peek?
Yeah. Well, it's a feeling and a knowing of being true to myself. And the moments of like, I can just think of something that I'm doing that I love, and I'm just like, I'm so happy right now. Like, this feels like success for me because I'm doing what I love and I'm feeling that. And I'm feeling that almost euphoric kind of feeling, that I'm exactly where I need to be, doing what I need to be doing, and I'm being true to myself. And then I connect with someone and I see the sparkle come back in their eyes, and that's where that soul to soul connection happens, that we radiate and we vibrate at this level that just feels so connected, so profound, so expansive. And that's a feeling that I attempt to carry throughout my day and cultivate throughout, the week, the month, the year, the life, right? Yeah, to build on that. Yeah, to hold that frequency.
It's a powerful, powerful frequency, high vibe. You're making me think of when my kids laugh. Like, there's a small one for me. It's like, yeah, there he is, there she is. Like, I see you in there, that joy. All right,
Yes.
Trisha, how about you? What is that small moment of success for you?
Yeah, I think what really fulfills me are the moments that I have on a daily basis that are either with clients or colleagues or friends, in which we feel supported, we feel seen, we feel heard, we feel acknowledged. And being able to give that, I get a lot of feedback that I provide a lot of spaciousness for people to reflect and think, and grace and compassion. And that comes from providing my own grace and compassion. So those moments where I'm really hard on myself and I give myself grace and compassion, it's that self-awareness moving to other awareness, right? Having grace and compassion for others in those moments. And I think my most fulfilling moments are when I get clients come back and say, "Oh my gosh, I just had this total breakthrough from our last session together, and this is what happened." And I'm tingling right now as I say that, because it just feels so amazing to me, and that's why I do the work that I do. And every day, those are the moments that I look forward to.
I love that. I love basking in all your all's high vibes today. Authors, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone. Thanks, ladies.
Thank
you.
you.
So if you listeners heard something today that's given you the goosebumps, or you're resonating, you've got a question, or maybe you just need a little support, you want to carry on the conversation, this is way more than a book. This is a generous community of experts and master teachers, coaches, therapists, all kinds of amazing authors, and they're there for you to answer that question. So drop down below the video into the notes. I have all of our authors hooked up with their websites, their links. Go explore all of the awesome things that they are up to, right? They're ready. They're waiting for you to reach out. Sometimes that can be the hardest thing, to reach out for help or with a question, but don't let it be. Let it be easy, because we're ready and wanting to help you build that community that you've been craving. I'm so honored all the time to play in the sandbox with these authors, these experts who are so generous and heart-centered and aware and are walking their walk every day. So to the three of you, thank you for being that person.
Yep.
And for our listeners, join us for the book launch party. We're having it on September 20th. And that's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern. I've got information down below. We're going to have all the co-authors of The Ultimate Guide to Leaving Your Legacy there with us. You can go over to Amazon today and grab your beautiful copy of this book. I've got the link down below for that as well. And lastly, today, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it's time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.